Well, hello everyone. Thank you to the entire city of Lubbock for inviting us. And we wanted to do this crosswalk in Lubbock since years ago. And it's really an honor to be here because we love Lubbock, and what is happening in the arts in Lubbock is very interesting. It's a very good thing. What we want to share is some tips that we have learned in our process. So whoever wants to make crosswalks, they don't make the same errors or the same mistakes, okay? About materials and about designs and those kind of things. You're going to find in your, if you decide to design a crosswalk, you're going to find several normatives that you need to follow. And that depends on the cities that you are working with. Or sometimes the same city can have different normatives according to the streets. In some streets, they are going to ask you as a requirement to respect the zebra, what they call the white stripes. Other, they are going to say that no, that is okay. But anyway, this is, I'm very happy to be here because I have been trying to promote the crosswalks as an art since many years ago. Because this is another canvas that we artists can work with. And there are crosswalks everywhere, right? And it's fun, and at the same time, it's something that is very useful for people. It promotes the safety of the pedestrians and the safety of the drivers. And it's fun for kids and for all ages, and but you have to think that it's not a canvas that you are working with. There are several normatives and materials and whatever that you need to respect. And that's the point of this talk. Okay, so when we started making the first proposal that we did to Austin, to the city of Austin, first we went and we researched a lot. And there is, by the way, a wonderful study from Texas A&M. There's a wonderful study about crosswalks. What is convenient, what is not, about the materials and everything. So it's very good to look at. It's on the internet, okay? So you can find it. And you're going to have a lot of information in there that is convenient to read. So we went and we researched a lot. And even if we researched a lot and we were in contact all the time with public transportation from the city of Austin, we did a lot of mistakes. So that's what we want to prevent from you, so we can go further. The first thing that you're going to do is you research a little bit, but now you are going to have an introduction with this talk, and you're going to work the design. For cities, there is no way, even if the sponsor is a business, there is no way that the city is going to allow you to use a public street to make any kind of advertisement. Even if McDonald's is willing to pay for the crosswalk, they're going to say, no, this is public domain. So you cannot use that for any kind of commercial things. If it's in the parking lot of McDonald's or Walmart or Whole Foods or whatever, you can do any kind of advertisement, but never in a public street. So this is in Switzerland, and this is in a public street. But you're not supposed to do that. Okay, there's another thing that they are going to say maybe no, because they are going to say that you are getting distracted. The pedestrian is getting distracted and is not paying attention to what they are supposed to be paying attention. It's the cars, the traffic, right? So maybe something like this, they are going to say no. This one is the absolute example of the no, no, no. Why? It's confusing the first part against the second one. And the most important thing is that you should never work with such a detail in a crosswalk. Because as soon as the design starts to fade, you lose all the design. Then you're going to see just some yellow in here, some blue, and you don't know if it's a fish or it's a bird or it's nothing, Because it depends on the very details. As soon as you start fading those things, the eye of the fish or whatever, you lose it. And in that side is worse because it's going to be much more confusing, So that's a recommendation that is mine. about the design. Bigger blockers you use of color, it fades, but the design continue to be there if it fades a little bit. And it's going to be much easier for the crew that is coming to retouch it after 3-4 years, to retouch it with the stencils and everything, that if they have no idea of what it was in there. Okay, these are kind of good examples. Here we have again the problem of the lines. They are going to fade very easily because they are thin lines. This is one of the first one that they built in San Francisco, one of the first colorful crosswalks. But that's the problem. The very, very thin lines in that one. And this one is super fun. I like it. I like it. And this one, you see that there are bigger blocks and, right? Okay, this is an example. That is something that has been done everywhere. You find the shadow of the zebra. You can find that all over the world, everywhere. It's something that is easy to do maybe, or people find it fun, and they repeat it and repeat it, okay? And that's okay. The problem is, when you do something like this, think about the perspective. For example, this one you can see wonderful because the camera is in the middle. So you can feel the perspective. This shadow is coming in here and this shadow is coming in there. But if you are in here, then you're going to feel something deformed. Or if you are in the other side. So if you're planning to use shadows or something, instead of taking the point of perspective in the middle, maybe just take only one point at the beginning or make it on both sides or whatever. Maybe we can go to the next one. This is kind of the same thing, you see? This is more three-dimensional, but this is also okay. Big blocks, and here is the perspective is treated in a different way. This one was in Baltimore. This one is a very interesting design. It's just black and white, but it's very interesting. They did the 4 streets. So it's a long zipper. And this one was also one of the first done that they didn't have to put the white stripes totally forever. Oh, can we go to the previous one? This one. This is in Georgia, but this is never going to happen in the US. When you treat the colors, you cannot use the red of the fire line. You cannot use the yellow of the marking of the roads. And you're not supposed to use the blue because the blue is what? Handicap. Handicap, right. So you need to mix the colors to get some kind of colors that are not the green, yellow, blue, or red used in the language of the public transportation system. So you can do orange, light green, whatever, but not those colors. Okay, this is an example, very interesting. I'm not saying that it's good or it's bad, okay? I'm saying that it's very convenient for a crosswalk because they are using kind of big blocks of color, okay? And they did something smart. When they left in black where the wheels of the cars are going to pass. So this is going to last longer because the wheels are not going over the colors, over the design. So that's why I put this example, because I found that was interesting, that concept, okay? This is also interesting. And you see the colors here are completely different. And they are big blocks too. And there is, again, there is a three-dimensional element, but it doesn't change the way you perceive it if you are in the middle to one side or to the other one. Okay, for me, the best crosswalks in the world are done by Carlos Cruzies. I don't know if you're familiar with his work. Well, he already passed away recently, 2 years ago. He is one of the starters of the geometrical art and the kinetic art and all that. He lived in Paris. He was Venezuelan. And of course, that's the kind of things that he did. That's his signature in his work. But it happens to be wonderful for crosswalks. So he's respecting the zebra in case that they want you, the city, or they want you to respect the zebra. But at the same time, he's having an optic effect. And something that I like, and we repeat it in Austin, is he's going out of the white lines. He's taking a little more. So this one is, of course, it's in LA. And this one was a commission of the Museum of Fine Arts of Contemporary Art of LA and the Broad Museum. And it was going to be temporary. It was done like the one in Houston that they did for an exhibition of Cruzier in there. Cruzier was having an exhibition in the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, and they did in front of the museum, they did the crosswalk that was his design. But the one in Houston, it faded in time, and it was never intended to last. It was for the exhibition, and until it died. And this one was the same. But it attracted so much people that wanted to take selfies, and there was a study that there were more people going there to take selfies at the crosswalk than people entering the museum. So they decided to repaint it and to keep it. And that's what you want. But at least that's what I want. I want people to respect my work and preserve it and maintain it and repaint it whenever there is the need for that. And the only way that you are going to achieve that people are going to be interested if there is interest of the people in general, like what happened with this one. If people in general are interested and they found it nice and they found it beautiful and they want to take the selfie, so there is a movement, so they want to preserve it. If it fades some time, no one is going to care. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this one is another Cruzier. Isn't that beautiful? This one is without the stripes, okay? This one was a commission of the city of Coral Gables. And here I want to say something. There are some communities, cities, whatever, that they see crosswalk design like a minor way of art, okay? You know, or community, or the neighbors, they're going to put together and they're going to, I'm not saying that that's not valid, but it's also a very interesting, let's say, canvas for the artists. Okay, the city of Coral Gables, this one was commissioned. This one was not for an exhibition. This one was commissioned by the city of Coral Gables. They paid for the design $280,000. And they created a fund of $300,000 for the preservation of the crosswalk in the next 10 years. So, for example, now the city of Austin is asking, if you want to apply for the city of Austin is desperate to have submissions because they really want to do more. You can apply, for example, for the community engagement fund to have some funds, but it's very low, very little. But they are asking you to cover some expenses and to have now, this is new, a fund to preserve so normally, if you use the right materials, this is going to last like 4 years without need of repainting. So for you to have an idea of how much can it be, the fund of preserving it, okay? So maybe we can go to the next one. Okay. This is not a crosswalk. This is another example. And this was also done for an exhibition in Vienna. And this is just the front of the museum. But it could be easily a crosswalk. So another thing, if you're going to work, because maybe you don't want to work with crosswalks, but you want to work something in the pavement. For example, this is a good consideration that they paint the front of the stairs, but not the step. Okay, here. Then, after the design, that you work your design, thinking about the safety of the pedestrians and thinking about what the city are requiring and all that, and the design is approved, the second thing that you need to be very aware is about the materials. The materials, the most important thing is that you need to use paint. There are so many brands, but that meets the TTP 1952E standards. That is not slippery, it's going to last. That there are several things that, so when you're going to buy the paint, ask the manufacturer of the paintings, ask them if they meet those kind of standards. So we do always, if it's a new paved street or not, we do the first coat of the asphalt emulsion sealer. It seals the street and is going to receive better the painting. So it's going to last longer, and that's what you want at the end, and the city also wants. Then we make the stencils according to the design. You saw the stencils today. It's very simple. The ones, you can make all kind of shapes, and then you repeat the. And also the stencils are very important to leave to transportation. Whenever they want to repaint and they want to maintain, they have those stencils in there, no? And then you mix the colors to achieve the desired tones, right? And about the rollers. For the first coat of the asphalt emulsion, use thicker rolls, as thick as you can. Because even if the rolls are just repaved and they are in wonderful conditions, you noticed yesterday, they always have a lot of texture. So the bigger the roller is, better is going to go to the material to go inside those cracks, the little cracks, and seal them. So when you're going to paint, it's going to be better. And for the colors, it depends on what is your design. We are using just 3/8 of nap. And in this case was convenient because we had small circles and we have curves. So we use just the 4 inches for this design in particular in here. For others, for example, if we go, well, this one was 6 inches lines. So we use the roller of 6 inches, right? So this, okay, I want to show you here the difference. This is the trees before and this is after with the sealer, with the asphalt sealer. So it's really convenient to use that. Even if you're going to paint all in colors that you're not going to see nothing of the street, it's better to put that as a base. So this one, we were trying to do the first one in Austin, but we needed to acquire more experience about the materials and about all that. So we went to Marfa, and in Marfa they were super nice, and they said, yes, you can use our streets to try. So we did this thing just to try. That's the design that we were proposing in Austin, but we wanted to see if it was going to work or not. And then we make some mistakes. For example, at this point, we wanted it to be reflective. That's another thing. Some cities are going to allow you to be reflective, others no. This one here in Lubbock is not reflective, but I love when they say yes, because reflective, it looks much, much more interesting at night, right? And there is also another thing that I'm going to say, parenthesis in here. There is a beautiful effect when you use glow in the dark, but glow in the dark is not going to last, not even 1 month. So forget about that. So we were trying to make it reflective, and we started, they say, you know, you just throw over the paint. As the glass beads, you can find them in the same stores where they sell. It's just a very, very thin grounded glass. And we were throwing it over the paint, and that was a huge mistake because obviously, as soon as the cars start, they start taking out all the glass. And then we started mixing it, and we tried mixing it with the paint, and it was more successful because even if the cars start going by and the paint starts fading, there is always a layer of, because it's mixed with the paint. This is another one that we did. Here they didn't ask for the white stripes, but I forgot. So this would be a second, because at the end this is the white stripes. Okay, this one we did the reflective, and this is the Mexican American Cultural Center in Austin, and this one was done reflective. The ordinance of the city of Austin, you need to respect the zebra, the white lines, but since this from here to here, it was property of the Parks and Recreations. It's not a public road. So we were able of working with white stripes, but not without not with the zebra. Okay. So I think that I have one at night. Okay, you see the reflective. I don't know if you can feel that. It looks very, very beautiful. It's like it pops out at night. Okay, this one was the proposal in Marfa, right? So that's what at the end we agree with the public transportation, and at the last moment on site we make some changes that they approve in the moment. Okay, for example, this line I wanted to get out farther, and that one in the top, I wanted to get farther out of the zebra, and they say, okay, yes, it's okay, let's do it. At the beginning, they said no, and then they say yes. So that's the one in Lake Austin Boulevard. This is the idea. The idea was that this location is called Lake Austin Boulevard, and it's very, very close of Lake Austin. It's here, and just behind is the lake. So that's why we did that design. It's very simple, minimal, and that's it. Here you don't see the difference in the black because the street was just repaved. They don't want anyone that is not the crew to touch the streets, okay? So that's why the budget goes up, because you need to have enough money from the sponsor, from whoever, to pay to the transportation department for the installation. Here, this was the site proposed here in Lubbock, right? And we did two proposals. Holy Weave was the first one. That was more inspired in the architecture of the building, and they didn't like it because there were a lot of stripes, and I was very happy when they didn't like it, because for me, okay, it was inspiring the architecture. I like the colors. I could imagine that in that place, I could really see that, and I like it, and it was safe for the pedestrians and safe but it was very Cruz Diez, so I didn't want that. I was like, oh no, hopefully not. So, and the second one that we proposed was this one, music. That is the one that they choose, and I was very happy with that. Yes. So tomorrow, hopefully, we're going to finish it. And if we go to the last one, okay. This is a picture that I found recently. I didn't know that in online. It's a magazine called Austin Monthly, I think. Austin Monthly, yeah. Okay. So those kind of things is at the end is promotion. That is what is going to preserve your work, because if they become, like iconic, everybody's going to want to preserve them. And as a matter of fact, this article was like from 3 years after we did that crosswalk. So you can see that it was in perfect conditions. And Lake Austin Boulevard is a super busy street, super busy. So, and that kind of thing is what also is going to promote the idea of having more crosswalks, more artistic crosswalks, or asphalt art, or that kind of thing. Okay, well, thank you very much. Really, we are super happy of that we had a chance of doing a crosswalk here in Lubbock. And such a wonderful location. And hopefully tomorrow we're going to take pictures with musicians and kind of. Thank you. Thank you.